Hey everyone, Chris here, the RC Geek, coming to you from the shop, and we are getting a sneak peek look at Mike Patey's monster, the DRACO. This is new from E-flite, and this is an absolutely amazing model. Every single detail has been characterized that was on the full-scale airplane, and in fact, this model is based on a scan of the full-scale airplane before it had crashed, which tells you just the fidelity and the accuracy that E-flite was going for on this model. And it really shows. It's got all of the details. The panel lines are nicely done. It's got rivet detail everywhere. It's really fantastically done. E-flite has outdone themselves on this model in terms of the scale fidelity and the details and stuff. It's pretty remarkable. The airplane is big. It's a 2.0 meter wingspan. And so you've got those big tires on there that just impale the runway into submission on landings. And that's not to mention the uniqueness of this subject, right? This is a one-off airplane Mike Patey did. Tons of modifications on a Wilga 2000. There's very little that seems to be the original Wilga here. It's an insanely cool airplane to behold. So in terms of assembling the model itself, it's a nice big airframe, but it goes together extremely quickly. And so it starts out, the landing gear, you bolt on the mains in place, and those have a plastic fairing over a carbon fiber strut piece. And so then you've got the full shocks at the wheels as well, and you've got those nice big round foam tires, and those get installed once you put those main gear, screw it into place. And then onto the tail wheel, similar, it just screws into place, and it's fully shock absorbing as well, which is insanely cool. And then from there, the horizontal stabilizer just pops into place. You do want to make sure that you get a very positive seat on the tail back there, so make sure you get a really hard click when it clicks into place. And then slide the wings on over the carbon spar. You've got the hard mounted connectors in there, which is awesome, so it's really simple to hook everything up. And so then wings slide into place. You have two quick releases on both sides that hold the wing in place, and then from there glue the slats onto the leading edges. Now of course you got to get the prop on, and that goes on really easily. And then all of the assortment of details, they've got all of the antennas characterized, and so you just glue those into place, and they are a wire, so be careful with those. They will poke holes in your airplane. Seeing the airplane on the bench, it's awesome. You've got all kinds of lights all through the airplane, scale to the airframe. Mike Patey had all kinds of lights. The thing lit up like a Christmas tree, and so does the model. Now from there, once you have the model all together, of course, it's onto your radio setup. I do recommend taking a good look in the instructions for the radio setup because it's all in there and it's really simple. But also, the lights that are all through the airplane are fully programmable. So they show you in the instructions how to assign that to a rotary dial. And so I think there's like 8 different settings on the lights that you can activate with that dial. Also, the model has throttle reverse. And so again, they show how to do that in the instructions as well. It's really simple. Just put it on a switch. And so that really makes those, those bush landings a lot of fun. So based on flying the airplane, I found that I wanted 100% control on everything. So for the ailerons, I'm at 50 millimeters up and 22 millimeters down with 15% expo. And that differential is just how it comes out of the box. And then for the elevator, 32 millimeters up and down with 15% expo. For the rudder, 35 millimeters left to right with 20% expo. And then for the flaps, 20 millimeters mid and 40 millimeters full flaps. And I've got a 13% and a 25% down elevator mix with that. And that equates to about 3 millimeters at the partial flap and 8 millimeters at the full flap setting, down elevator mix. Now with respect to the CG, the whole top cowl comes off, And so that's where the battery inserts. Now I'm using 6S 5000, the smart packs, the Gen 1 and Gen 2. I have the 5000 pack pushed all the way back in the battery tray. And so that's where the CG felt the best to me. Potentially could go further back. That being said, the CG felt quite good there, and it's more or less where they recommend in the manual, which is 100 millimeters as measured from the slat leading edge at the root aft. And so that actually equates to there's a fairing at the root around a screw. And so if you pick the airplane up on that fairing with your fingertips, and the airplane has a slight nose down attitude, that will give you that CG. And so it's really simple. You've got a nice landmark there that you can use on the airplane. One other thing that I did explore, the kit comes with the foam tires, the nice big balloony tires, but I purchased some Dubro balloon tires, they're air-filled type, because I wanted a softer tire on there. Now, they worked out fantastically, but they do increase the weight quite a bit. So they are heavy tires. They're not required. I just wanted to try them out, and they do actually soften the landings quite a bit, and I didn't notice any performance degradation at all. Just tends to move the CG forward a little bit. It was just something I played with that I liked, so I've kind of kept them on there. But that being said, I had my battery pushed all the way back, even with the stock tires. With respect to flying the airplane, this thing looks amazing in the air. There's no questioning what it is, what its purpose is, and the red shows up fantastically. It's really easy to see, which is nice. This is a scale STOL airplane, and so the STOL operations it really excels at, doing spot landings, trying to get it as slow as you can get, shortest landing distance as possible with, the reverse thrust added in there. The airplane takes off in 2 feet or less. You can firewall it and go, and no tip over or anything like that whatsoever. And so that's a whole lot of fun. Keep in mind, this is a scale bush plane. It's not designed as an aerobatic machine. I mentioned that because, the airplane will do loops, rolls, and snap rolls and all of that. However, if you're doing rolling type maneuvers, it is a little bit sluggish with a max deflection roll. Okay, so if you're looking for something that's going to do rolling Harriers or something like that, this is not going to do it. But if you want to do a nice barrel roll or something like that, this does it no problem at all. Just be sure to plan ahead and give yourself enough altitude. But otherwise, like I mentioned, snap rolls, it snap rolls amazingly well, but the airplane responds really well to rudder. And so I did actually find myself kicking the rudder around in the turns to help kind of bring the tail around a bit more than I do on other type of airplanes. You've got this nice big wing. It's generating a lot of lift, so it does want to have that rudder due to the adverse yaw that you're getting. Now the other thing is I flew the airplane on 4 cells. I flew the airplane on 6 cells. Of course, 6 cells is going to give you that extreme performance. 4 cells, the airplane does fly nicely, but it's not a big hill climber at all. As a point of reference, the airplane does get extremely long flight times. I had my timer set at 5 minutes, and I flew way past the timer most of the time. I was probably doing 8+ minutes easily each flight. So yeah, let's take this out to the field, give you guys a flight. It's a bush plane, so we took it out to the bush to fly it, and so I'll give you a flight on 6 cells, followed by a flight on 4 cells, and then we'll come back, we'll wrap this up. So we're at an undisclosed location out in the bush of San Diego, if there is any of that, but you might notice 2-blade prop as opposed to the stock 4-blade that was on the bench. Well, I might have had a slight incident getting footage for another video, and so this is a 1610 2-blade prop. It is the exact same performance as the stock 4-blade. So if you're looking for a 2-blade option, there you go, and it flies awesome. So let's. This is going to be 6S, and then we'll do 4S for you, and let's have some fun. we got 4 cells in here. 4S5000. It's, you know, near the front of the tray in here. It's not a big hill climber with 4 cells, but, you know, for lazy flying around, touch and goes, stuff like that, it's pretty fun. Alright guys, so there we have the E-flite DRACO. This is an insanely cool airplane. It's a really cool subject. One of a kind is really what it is. E-flite has done a magnificent job on the design of the airplane. They've characterized it perfectly. They've got all of the scale details you could want. They've even got Mike Patey there in the cockpit. You know, if you're looking for a scale STOL experience, this is the way to go. But do keep in mind, it's not going to do a bunch of extreme rolling maneuvers. That's just not what it's designed for. But barrel rolls, snap rolls, hammerheads, all of that stuff, all day long. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to follow along on social media at the RC Geek. Subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you at the field. Got those big Chuck Norris tires, you know, that it just impale the runway into submission when it lands. Representative of the actual airplane.
Yes, this is an interesting fact. So Chuck Norris went skydiving once, and he promised never to do it again. 1 Grand Canyon was enough. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.